Morning, everyone. Hi, how are we doing? Can you hear me?
Good morning. Yes, we can.
Okay, awesome. Great. So, brilliant. So, if you can hear me, can you give an emoji? Just put a thumbs up in the chat. Cool. Thank you for that. So, morning, everyone. How are we doing? We welcome you to this event by Velda. And this event is titled an AI Seminar, Local and AI with Microsoft Power Platform. And what we want to do with this event today is to introduce you to the world of the Microsoft Power Platform and let you know how you can actually start a career in this field. And we're going to be covering a whole lot of things today. This event is packed for you to actually go through different areas of the Microsoft Power Platform and see if this is a career that you would actually want to dive into. So we're just going to go right into it. We're going to start the event now. So thank you for joining early. I'm sure as we proceed, we'll have other people join in this event. And just a little about myself. So my name is Kayode Ajayi. You can call me Kay. I am a technical consultant and I have over 5 years experience working as a Microsoft certified trainer, and I have over 7 years experience in the field of the Microsoft Power Platform. I'm a certified trainer. I deliver training to organizations of different sizes and also to individuals, which is part of what has actually birthed this platform, because over the years, I've seen this training can actually impact your career largely, but it's not popular, it's not widespread. So what I'm trying to do with this training is to make it popular, tell you about this field that is very fruitful at this point, and let you know how you can actually get started in this field. So I work as a consultant. I specialize in low code development. I have some background in pro code, so I do some JavaScript, some C Sharp, and things like that. But over the years, I got to specialize as a low code developer. And as we proceed, we'll hear more about low code, because with low code, you don't necessarily need to know how to program in these popular programming languages, but with low code, you get to use drag and drop tools. So that's just a little bit about myself. I'm passionate about learning. I love learning and I love sharing what I know. So that's just a little bit background about myself. So we want to know you. Where have you joined from today? So can you just put it in the chat wherever you're joining? Currently, we're on Teams. We're also streaming on, we also have a Google Meet call running, and we're also on TikTok. So wherever you're hearing us from, can you put in the chat where have you joined from today? Lagos, beautiful. So I can see Lagos, Saudi Arabia, awesome, brilliant. Cool. So where have you joined from? I can see people joining from different places. That's awesome. Enugu, Nigeria, Birmingham, beautiful. So it's awesome because we're spread around the world, and that's part of what we get with technology. With technology, we are not restricted to any particular space, or you can actually learn from anywhere, which is awesome. So great. So have you heard of low code before? I'm joining from Nigeria. Beautiful. So the question is, where are you joining from? I see some of us have not put in our answer. So where are you joining from? Also, have you heard about low code before? Do you know what low code is? Have you heard of about low code? Anybody? Have you heard about low code before? Plymouth, beautiful. Oh, great. I can see somebody has heard about low code before. Yes, people have heard about low code. Awesome. Then the final question or the third question, do you have a career in tech, or are you considering a career in tech? Do you have a career in tech already? What's your job role? Are you considering a career in tech? So I can see yes, I have. Awesome. So, which is also good, right? Especially when if you're in tech, you have a lifestyle of learning because tech keeps changing. There's a whole lot of updates that come in all the time. So, it's still good that you're here. It's good that you've joined today because you're going to learn something new, which is important because you don't know what your next career will be. When I started in tech, I used to do 3D animation, I used to do graphic design, but now I'm in a totally different career. So that's why you should keep on learning because you don't know what your next career is going to be. Don't know when you're going to need to switch your careers into a different career entirely. So keep on learning. Stay tuned. There's so much we're going to share today. Awesome. Beautiful. I can see somebody that does data as a lead. So that's awesome. And when we're talking about Power Platform, also, we're talking about data because every organization deals with data. And what we're going to be talking about is how the organizations get to do more with their data using a low code platform, which is the Microsoft Power Platform. So awesome. And now there's a whole lot of buzz around AI, how through this career you can actually leverage AI development. Cool. So now, if you could build any app in the world, what will it do? If you could build any app in the world, what will it do? So can you scan this QR code? I'm going to put the link in the chat for you to type that in. So there's a slider link in the chat. What will you, if you could build any app in the world, what will it do? If you could build any app in the world, what will it do? So I've put it in the Google Meet chat. I'm going to put it on the Teams chat. So that's coming to the Teams chat now. Awesome. So if you see it in the Teams chat, can you give it a thumbs up? If you see it in the team chat, give it a thumbs up. Awesome. Thank you. If you could build any app in the world, what will it do? I'm interested to see our responses. And we have this generally, or you could have noticed the problem that you want to solve, or maybe you just want to build a game, or maybe you just want to build. If you had the powers and technology is not a restriction, what will you build? So I'm just waiting for our responses, then I'll put it up on the screen for us to see. Have we been able to access it? If you've put in your response to the link and you put it in the chat, or if you're having some trouble with that, just put it in the chat directly. Okay, so some people can't see the link. You can put it in the chat directly. If you could build any app in the world, what will it do? So just drop it in the chat. I'm yet to see our responses. So Adiola, if you can read the chat, can you read out some of the responses that have come in? So I can see somebody says they will build, I can see somebody say they will build an AR finger ring app for testing wedding engagement rings. That sounds interesting. I see somebody says you automate business processes to enable users do more with less fatigue. That's awesome. And those are the kind of things we do in the Power Platform too. So at the end of the day, building solutions is all about, first of all, having an idea, right? And no idea is stupid. An idea might seem difficult at first, but over time, once you spend time on the idea, you get to, build it out into a full-fledged solution. So hold on to your ideas and over time, okay, so I think some people had issues with that link. So yeah, you can just put it in the chat. Let me double check here and see if I can see some more from the chat. Okay, so I can see games for kids learning, games for kids learning. That's really awesome. I can see a traffic fine reminder and documentation app. Cool. So that's brilliant. I can see a whole lot of great ideas, which means I'm talking to the right people. Because once you have great ideas, the next thing that is required is what is the tool that you're going to need to bring those ideas to life, which is what we are going to be looking at in this training. So we're just going to go to the next thing now. And so this is our agenda. This is what we are going to look at today. So we're starting with an introduction, which is what we are, the path we are on to right now. Then after we have a guest who is an expert in this field and in tech generally, who is going to come and talk to us about something with going to come and share some knowledge with us. Then we'll have a look at Microsoft AI. We'll look at Microsoft's positioning in AI and low code. Then we'll have an interactive workshop, which is actually going to be hands-on, and we are going to see how all of these things come together. So it's a very busy day. There's so much for you to actually pick up today. So we're going into it. So now let's talk about Velda. So who is Velda? We are IT company and we are focused on three areas majorly. We're focused on building custom IT solutions. So we help businesses build apps, automate processes, and you make them modern, do things in a modern way. We help them build modern tools to actually solve their business problems. And the fact is, every organization has business problems. Every organization needs optimization. Every organization needs tools to make them work better, which kind of talks about this field because as adults spend 70% of their time at work, 70% of their lifetime at work. So that shows how big the field of building business applications is because every business they need applications to function, they need tools to function. So that's why this field is buzzing and is increasing. And the good thing is it is very accessible. So we build IT solutions and we also deliver world-class IT training, right? We help professionals come into different fields in tech and we give them the training that they need to actually succeed. And following on from that, we do work experience and mentorship programs. So say you want to come into this field, but you don't have a job yet. We have programs that we can put in place for you to actually gain work experience that you can actually put on your CV. We give real world projects that you can actually work on to develop yourself. And you help with other things like your LinkedIn review, your CV reviews, and things like that. So there was some issues with the Google Meet, but it's back online now, so that's good. So we are not just starting, as much as we might look like new kids in the block, is something that we've been working on for several years, investing in raising the future of the next generation of tech leaders. And currently, we are actually mentoring some young students also in tech. So we have a vision to raise the future of the next generation of tech leaders. So that's our vision, and that's why we've put this kind of event together. Let's get the knowledge out there in that sense. Let's not gatekeep. Let's give the knowledge out and get more people into tech because the truth is the world we are in now, every organization is going to be a tech company. Irrespective of what the organization does at their core, they are going to have expressions in tech. So that's why it's important for everybody to have a background in tech, to have an understanding of tech, and start seeing how you can jump on the tech ladder because now is a very good time for you to jump on the tech ladder. And what do you need? You need the right skills, the right exposure, and that's what we're bringing to the table. So, are you still with me? If you're with me, give me a thumbs up. If you're with me, give me a thumbs up. I can see people on Google Meets. If you're with me, give a reaction. Let me be sure that you can hear me. On Teams to give a reaction. Let's be sure we are all together. Cool. I can see loads of reactions from Google Meets there. Awesome. So we are, and let me confirm if Tolu has been able to join, who is going to be our guest. So I'm just going to confirm if Tolu has been able to join. All right, awesome. So when we're talking about low code and AI with Microsoft Power Platform, what are we talking about? And you know that before I go into that, I was just going to tell you my own story. How did I get into this field? Earlier on, I mentioned that I used to do things like 3D animation and graphic design, and that was my story, right? How did I get into this low code field? How did I get into the Microsoft Power Platform space? Mainly, I attended an event like this, right? I attended an event, though it was a physical event. Then I was in Ibadan, Nigeria, and I traveled down to Lagos, Nigeria. And I was at a point in my life, I wouldn't say my career, but I was at a point in my life where I knew a lot of stuff. I was more like a jack of all trades, but a master of none. And I was at a point where I was getting ready. I just finished university, I just finished NYSC, and I was getting ready to get into the job ladder. But I knew that I didn't have enough skills because I was a jack of all trades, but I was a master of none. And I attended an event like this, and that was the first introduction to this world of Microsoft Power Platform, and it sounded interesting. And I began to look into it. I began to dive deeper, and that was really how I got into it. So don't underestimate what a meeting like this can actually change the direction of your life. And for me, the Microsoft Power Platform space gave me a career to pursue, and it keeps on growing. That's the good thing about this space. It keeps on growing because Microsoft is investing heavily in the field of business applications, right? And Microsoft is not just starting, they've been here for years. And over the years, they've been able to establish themselves as the business application tool. Yes, I can see Tolu over there. So awesome. I'm just going to make him a presenter so that once it's time for him to come live, he would have access. And Adiola, you can see if you can do that too. I'm here already. It looks like a presenter already. Cool. So the low code, so when we're talking about low code and AI with Microsoft Power Platform, as I've said, Microsoft is investing heavily in this field. So that means you are in a good space if you pursue this as a career. And it's a career that is going nowhere because businesses will always need applications. And the good thing is, a lot of these businesses already have relationships with Microsoft, and Microsoft is investing in this field. And if you find yourself in this field, I'll say you're in a good place. Beautiful. So, what is low code, right? And some of us said we've seen low code. So, can somebody put in the chat, what is low code? So, whether you're on Google Meet, whether you're on Teams, just put in the chat what is low code? What do you understand by low code? What do you understand by low code? So we're making it interactive. We want to learn from each other. So what do you understand by low code? Anybody before we go on? So I can see some things here. So what do you understand by low code? So we're not gonna, I've just waited to see one person. So someone says low code is a method of building application using visual tools, pre-built components, minimizing the need for traditional coding. I couldn't have said it better. That's on point. So that's really low code. You're building applications, you're building software using drag and drop tools, using graphic tools, right? UI tools, and you don't need the knowledge of traditional coding. So traditionally, for you to build applications, you need to know the web technologies, you need to know JavaScript, all of those things. But with low code, you don't need to know all of those things. It's a more streamlined platform and is a more simplified interface. So that's low code. And if you've used tools like Bubble, or if you've used PowerPoint, you can actually build applications with Microsoft Power Platform. That's how straightforward it can be, right? It's just like the way you drag and drop elements in PowerPoint. That's how you put it together in the Power Platform. Though, because it's where you're putting business logic, you still have to think like a developer. But the difference is that you are using low code tools rather than traditional programming. So, as much as it sounds so simple and easy, there is still problem solving involved. And problem solving is essential, irrespective of whether you're doing low code or whether you're doing traditional coding. Then, what is AI? Can somebody tell me what is AI? I'm sure we should know this now because a lot of us if we use AI tools, ChatGPT and the likes. So what is AI? Can somebody tell me what is AI? Thanks to everyone that are actively chatting. It's really appreciated, and we encourage more people to be more involved in putting in replies in the chat. So what is AI? Anybody? I saw somebody on Google Meet to say low code is building with drag and drop web applications that use little or no code. That's also an interesting point because when you're building on the Power Platform, you don't need to install anything on your computer. So traditionally, if you want to build, you need to install VS Code, install Server, know how to connect all of those things. But when you're building on the Power Platform, you do everything on the web, and it kind of streamlines the experience, and you just go to what you're building and you build it directly. So that's beautiful. I'm still going to look out for our chats on AI, for AI, artificial intelligence. Thank you. But basically, AI, one thing I want to mention is AI has been existing even before ChatGPT, right? A lot of us, when we hear AI, we are thinking of ChatGPT and things like that. But AI has been existing long before that. What it basically is AI? With AI, we are able to use computers. We're able to create form of artificial brain that can do things for us. So, for example, when you go on YouTube and you see different recommendations, is an AI that is putting that together. So it's using machine learning and other tools to augment to have that form of artificial intelligence. So that is AI. And in the business world, AI is very important because AI helps people in the businesses in companies to do things in a more efficient way, in an optimized way. And within the Power Platform, you can actually build AI. You can build AI models. You can create an app that maybe people want to submit receipts, right? They can just put in the receipt and the AI extracts all the text. Or you could build a school app that once people write in their exam sheets, the AI can read all of that and extract the information and put it in a database, or extract the information and even mark the script. So there's a whole lot you can do with AI. And the good thing about doing it on the Power Platform is you don't have to write any code. So traditionally, when you want to do AI, you will need to do a lot of coding, you need to do a lot of research and things like that. But within the Power Platform, you don't need to do all of that. So the Power Platform has different components, which I'll just run through now. So we have Power Apps, which you can use to build applications, business applications. And we have Power Automate, which you can use to build automations. So maybe you want to send an automated email, or you want to send an automated reminder. You can build all of those things using Power Automate. And we have Copilot Studio. Nowadays, there's a whole lot about Copilot. That's generative AI. So with Copilot Studio, you can actually build generative AI chatbots that interact with your business data. We also have AI Builder that you can use to build some other type of AI for doing things like sentiment analysis. So when maybe somebody sends you an email, you have to record whether the email is positive, negative, or you have to record the sentiment. You can do those kind of things with AI Builder. Traditionally, you will need to write code to do those kind of analysis, but you can do it on the Power Platform. We have Dataverse, which is like a database. We have connectors that allows you to connect to different data sources. So wherever your data is, you can connect to it. We have Power BI. Power BI is popular too, which is for data analysis, which a lot of people are in the field of data. And I think earlier on too, we heard from someone that is in the field of data. So they'll probably have heard of data analysis or Power BI. And we have Power Pages, which allows you to build websites, external facing websites on the Power Platform. So all of these are very powerful tools, as you can probably guess, and you do these things without having to write code in the traditional way. So that shows you how powerful this field is. So we know with these tools that we see on the screen, you've probably seen them before. Outlook for emails, PowerPoint. I'm sure all of us have used PowerPoint at some point. Microsoft Word, SharePoint, Excel, Microsoft Teams, which we are actually live on Microsoft Teams now. All of these tools, they are within the Microsoft's ecosystem, right? And the Power Platform can connect to all of these tools to do to augment these tools. So Microsoft has been existing. Microsoft has all of these tools already. The Power Platform is an additional tool that businesses are applying, is expanding into more and more businesses. So now this is just the simple statistics. Microsoft 365 is used by over 2 million companies worldwide. Isn't that amazing? Right. So talking about the job market, this tells you that the job market is actually large, is actually wide, right? Because millions of companies over the world, and this is millions of companies. I'm not talking of the individuals. Now imagine how many individuals are using these tools, right? And this is a very recent statistic. So over 2 million companies are using Microsoft. And the good thing about the Power Platform is every company that uses Microsoft, by they get access to the Power Platform. So, for example, when I was in university, this login, we had our email, we had our password. That was using Microsoft behind the scene. So that means I can build a solution and sell it to my university and, already have access to the platform. So loads of organizations that uses Microsoft Office, that uses Microsoft Outlook, they have the Power Platform by default. So that gives you an idea of the space. It is a very big field that just keeps on increasing. And because companies that uses the Power Platform, they get to save on costs, they get to save on time, and they have just a single platform that can build loads of applications, that can build all the applications. Currently, I'm working with a client and we are building over 40 applications for them on the Power Platform. And this organization is a very big company here in the UK. So that just tells you how big this field is. These are other statistics given by Microsoft, and it says, estimation over 1 billion new applications will be built by 2028, right? So that is amazing. And all of these applications are built on the Power Platform. So that's amazing. I want one of your apps to be this part of these statistics, right? And they have been able to project it based on the recent growth because in the past few years, this field has been growing exponentially. Okay. So more statistics and through the statistics, so we have an idea of this. So it is number one adopted low code platform all around the world. So that's a Power Platform. Low code is not a new thing. Low code, there are other low code tools apart from the Power Platform, but the Power Platform is the number one adopted low code platform. I talked about Microsoft having great relationships already with companies, and the Power Platform is just like one of those relationship. 97% of Fortune 500 companies use the Power Platform. So that tells you, and when you're talking about Fortune 500 companies, those are companies that have money, right? Those are multinational companies, and they say 97%. So that's almost 100% of them use the Power Platform. So that still gives you an idea of the career and the career progression. What kind of companies offer these jobs, or what kind of companies employ Power Platform developers? They are companies that have money. They are companies that can pay you the kind of salary you want to be getting, not what you get in like a service job or something like that. So we have like big multinational organizations that employ Power Platform developers. And it also, in terms of the scale, over 47 million monthly active users of the Power Platform. So these are all big numbers, and it tells you that not is real, and it is increasing, and you can actually get into this field. So we have different careers. You can be a local developer, you can build Copilot agents, you can be a solution architect, you can be a consultant, you can even be in sales, or you can even be a licensing specialist. So there are different careers in this field. And yeah, so if you have any questions, we'll be up our guests soon. Tolu, can you confirm that you are able to speak?
Yes, Kaide, I can hear you.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Tolu. So we'll be bringing up our guests soon, and Deola is going to give an introduction to our guest, and we'll bring him up. So Bob, do that. Any questions so far? You can put it in the chat. Any questions? You can chat. Any questions? Okay. All right, I'll go for it.
Yeah, good afternoon, morning, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching us from. Please Can everyone hear me? Maybe emojis
Yes,
to
I can
just
hear you.
okay. Yeah. Good afternoon, morning. Like I said, yeah, my name is Adiola Omodili. I'm the technology specialist for Veda Solutions Limited, and this is part of the business of the day, the usual the tech consulting, architecture and improvements, and is also a proficient in Microsoft platform of Dynamics 365 Azure, and also he's also passionate about tech. So please applaud Mr. Tolu Walashe. Please permit me your second name. So thank you.
Tulu Alashe Olabopo. Yeah, that's okay. Good morning, everyone.
Morning. Thank you.
So is it for me to present now?
Yes, it is. Yes.
All
Are you
right.
able to share your screen?
Yeah, let me try that. Yeah, can see?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. All right. Yeah, am I?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Good morning or good afternoon from wherever you are listening to us across the globe, because the world is global now. And then, yeah, people are from different part of the world, so good afternoon, good evening, and yeah, welcome to the session. Thank you, Adiola, for that brief introduction. I'm excited to have you here today, and I'm grateful to Velda for the opportunity to speak about something I'm passionate about, the platform. The platform has become such a hot topic in the business world, from automation to insight, and then, of course, the job creating. There are a lot to explore within the Power Platform. Okay, so again, to Adiola for that introduction about me, but just before we jump into the content of the day, let me start with a quick introduction about myself, so that you know how deep I enjoy working with technology like Power Platform and the Microsoft ecosystem. So I currently serve as a technical director, technology at Morgan Stanley, and where I lead and manage a global technology team from spanning the United States, North America, Asia, and Europe, basically driving digital transformation, innovation, and delivery across business applications, from Dynamics 365 to Power Platform that we will be talking about on the call today, Azure, and other Microsoft related technology, and not just within Microsoft ecosystem and other system built within or enterprise large platform. So a strong foundation in Microsoft Dynamics 365. I actually started as a consultant to being a technical consultant, a developer, and then a solution architect, and then to where I am now. I have experience strong in Dynamics 365, Azure Power Platform, and AI, artificial intelligence. I have almost a decade and a half of experience, delivering strategic technologies aligned with enterprise goals. I have worked across consulting, automation, and business process improvement, consistently enabling organizations through intelligent platforms. And you'll be seeing how Power Platform is actually very intelligent. And also in terms of governance, Power Platform is about the being intelligent, the governance model, Microsoft ecosystem. So Power Platform is something I'm deeply passionate about. The transformative power of the low-code platform like Microsoft Power Platform is something I always enjoy to talk about. So looking at my screen, right, in the past few, we are witnessing a shift in how applications are built across organizations, right? So before now, although I mentioned I started a functional consultant, I am a core developer building applications on C Sharp, P.NET, JavaScript, HTML, CSS, likes of those being a developer, right? But I found out about using like the like of Nintendo K-forms before I discovered Microsoft. So traditionally, building robust digital solutions meant before now long development cycles, technical backlogs, fully developers. But that is changing rapidly now, right? And thanks to low-code platforms, business users, which we call citizen developers, so business are often referred to as citizen, can now independently build apps. They can build applications, automate workflows, and derive insight from data with minimal technical expertise, which means that within a month, within 1-2 months, you can quickly turn around. So basically, you can reduce the turnaround times for application development, which basically enable faster delivery of solutions and quicker responses to changing business needs. Like every organization have different business requirements, and you can quickly scale through the Power Platform technology. So again, the market is this shift. I would be right. The market is shifting towards the local market to reach $65 billion by 2027, which is like a clear indicator of the growing demand and investment in this space. At the forefront of the growth, Microsoft Power Platform, that is Microsoft's strategy, which is to democratize app development, which is when we're talking about democratizing app development, means that empowering users across departments from operations to finance to HR, to create scalable solutions, extensive code, right? And this democratization I'm talking about is reshaping how digital transformation is achieved, faster, more inclusive, more ever before. Before now, we have millions lines of code to achieve a feature on an application, but the democratization and introduction of low code has really changed the game for every organization currently. So now, yeah, while Kayode was talking about presentation earlier, saw this slide as well, which interestingly I have it as per my presentation today. So basically, to set the stage, I want us to just take a look at some compelling statistics around the Power Platform adoption, right? Microsoft Power Platform is currently the number one low-code platform globally. Not just in Europe, not in Africa, not just in Asia, I mean globally across the world. Adoption rate reflects that um, the power of the power, as the name implies, as you can see, 97% of Fortune 500 companies now use the Power Platform, which highlight these statistics highlight how deeply it is across the enterprise landscape. So to give a practical example of okay, so to give the company I work with is a leading global investment bank. They are ranked among the top 10 in the financial services sector, and we use our Power Platform extensively to drive automation, operational efficiency and innovation business unit. Power BI lies. We're talking about Power Platform is also one of the product suite of Power Platform, which Microsoft is trying to take out. But yeah, we can't take out Power BI from Power Platform as well. Power BI is also now by 375,000 organizations worldwide, which was from, if I could remember, 2021, 2022, the statistics was around 200,000. And now, notably, majority of Fortune 500 companies have adopted Power BI. So Power Platform has experienced that significant growth, increasing from 33 million monthly active users. And talking about monthly active users, 33 million for an enterprise application is no joke, right? And then 48 million in 2024. So Q4 2024, during the one of the Microsoft conference, we saw the statistics like 48 million in Q4, making a 45% year-over-year increase in the adoption of Power Platform itself. So currently, the platform boasts 48 million monthly active users, which is a number that would continue to rise. It's not just going to stop there. It's going to continue to rise because it's not only widespread, right? The growing reliance currently rely on it because low code and the AI-driven solutions that they can use out of the Power Platform technology to drive or to accelerate their digital transformation. So the increasing user base presents significant opportunities for IT service, and I'll be talking about job opportunities and why why organizations are actually investing in this platform for job seekers, for people to upskill, for people looking to scale up their careers. Like these are opportunities for you, these statistics, right? For opportunity for IT service providers, for consulting like Velda, for professionals seeking automation, digital transformation, AI integration. Demand for Power Platform expertise is at an all-time high. I mean, making it an exciting space to work. to work into a business looking to innovate or a professional looking to upskill. Power Platform is at the center of this low-code revolution. These statistics again show just how widely adopted and impactful the Power Platform has become, and how far-reaching Power Platform's influence is across the industries. So yeah, so one of the keys is its seamless integration across the broader Microsoft ecosystem. They also mentioned earlier, right? Talking about Dynamics, we are looking at the Microsoft ecosystem, talking about the Dynamics 365 suite, the Business Central, the finance and operation, the customer feed service. Looking at Azure. Azure is being used by many of Microsoft 365, as well as with third-party applications, right? Not just sitting within the Microsoft ecosystem, the extension and integration of Power Platform party application like the SAP, if you know, the Salesforce, a lot of other applications, even this interconnectedness, ensures that data flows smoothly across systems, which that have like what we call line of business applications, or applications that are built maybe for their core. For example, let's take a look at operations. Like they have core banking system, right? Some also then use platform to do some integration to build on those core banking application, which enable end-to-end automation. It gives them that unified experience. It makes them more efficient, greater efficiency without the need for complex custom. Power Platform supports cost-effective AI enhanced automation, which is what I'm currently excited, looking at the AI feature within Power Platform. Enables organization to build intelligent with minimal coding effort. I can't continue to overemphasize the fact that with minimal coding effort, right? So it's this development cost and accelerate solution delivery. So it also offers feature-proof capabilities through like AI Builder, Copilot, GPT integration, a lot of innovation, a lot of initiatives that Microsoft are rolling out, which is going to empower users to infuse AI into everyday business processes, whether it's generating content or predicting outcomes or guiding decision making. Power Platform is there for you to use. So these features allow businesses to build scalable and impactful solutions that can be applied at diverse sectors, from finance to healthcare to manufacturing to public services, delivering measurable value and long-term adaptability. So let me give you a real feel for why is the future. Beyond the social media, online is full of all data. People are coming to use different words. People, salespeople like, oh, you have to use this, you have to use this word. Like, I want to give you some real examples to show you the scenarios where Power Platform is actually um, um, driving across organizations. For example, at one organizations, which is for confidentiality, I call them Can Do PLC, right? I put a major pain point they had with their processing workflow, and it is interesting that K was measuring mentioning receipt generation or something like that earlier. So what I did was their process was heavily manual and fragmented, right? They were receiving unstructured PDFs through email. So their customers, their clients will send them PDFs through email, which an employee had to download manually. So these documents were then uploaded into an OCR system to extract data. So they have another standalone OCR system built. In fact, that system is more than 20 years old, I can't remember the name. So they had to PDF from their email, upload it into that OCR system to extract data. And then once that is extracted, it's extracted in a CSV format. An employee would then go to those CSV format to manually validate if the data extracted are correct, and then they then enter it into a CRM template. So once that is uploaded to the CRM, they also have a bad job, a DLL bad job that triggered, sorry if language is technical, sorry, a bad job that triggered record to be to their ERP system for further processing. So that process was fragmented, disconnected, it was inefficient. As a solution architect, I got into that process. The first thing I saw was there are a lot of redundancies, there are a lot of inefficiency, and it's also prone to errors. So I was on board. The first thing I did was to analyze, to do like immediately see how this process wasn't scalable. It can't be scalable because silo systems we are talking about here, right? So especially for business dealing with high transaction volume, this customer they have about over 1 million customers, and every day they have hundreds of thousands of people sending them PDF documents. They have client managers, account managers downloading those PDF documents and doing all those processes I mentioned earlier. So what I did was I designed and implemented a solution that leveraged a combination of Dynamics 365. I'm not sure if my audience say if they know what Dynamics 365 is about, but it's also one of the Microsoft ecosystem enterprise solution. Dynamics 365 CE, I use Azure Cognitive Services and the Power Platform, which is Power Platform is actually the center of the innovation. So this is how I approach that solution. Let me quickly run through how. So firstly, what I did was I centralized the document management process. And before I start, okay, let me run you through the load. I centralized the document process. The document coming in through email were redirected to a SharePoint repository. So the first thing is to centralize. So all the customers' emails, silo emails to client director. The first thing they ask to a single mailbox, maybe call account or call. So that's that document. All the are being added to a repository once an email is sent to that mailbox. So what I used was I used Power Automate to handle the workflows for pulling this document and triggering the next steps automatically. So there were no more manual downloading or handling of those documents. Next, then I integrated an Azure Cognitive OCR, which is optical character recognition. So instead of relying on their standalone OCR, to which we eventually decommissioned, right? So I built an AI-driven process with Power Automate using AI Builder. Kay also mentioned that earlier. So this allowed us to extract data from PDF document in a structured format, and then it eliminates the need for that manual validation, because I mentioned they were doing manual validation before. So once the data was extracted, we did a mapping. So I did a mapping of tables in Dynamics 365. We're talking about integration here. So for instance, we used like customer IDs and other to match record to the right customer. So the system then created a payment schedule under the customer profile, which was automatically sent to the sales team for approval. So after approval, right, the system they can even approve from their email using what we call adaptive actionable messages, right? So the system triggered pushing the payment schedule into the ERP system for posting. So first thing was we replaced the DLL-based batch job with Power Automate workflow, which were more flexible. It's maintainable and scalable. The data being pushed up here was also part of a Power Automate integration, right? And then the solution was a game changer, to be honest, because subsequently it opened a lot of door for the organization I work with. It completely manual intervention for the organization, errors, significantly improved processing times of their customer, plus it was scalable for them as the business grows, right? Or the volume of document increases from, the solution can easily adapt without requiring additional resources. So what really made this solution impactful was how it different technology seamlessly. The Dynamics 365 which is like Dataverse, which is like the central hub for all the data. Azure Cognitive Services power the AI needed for intelligent document processing. The Power Platform tied everything together with workflows, automation, and integration capabilities. Using the Power Platform tools, they already had. Okay, another advantage is that they had enterprise license with Microsoft, so it was also cost effective for them. So one of the key decisions was we replaced all silo application, we brought a unified experience. We removed all the bottlenecks that relied on those specialized tool. And so looking at this, if you had to do similar automation or application using pro code, I mean using development, I mean rely on traditional development, you can 8 months to that level, a lot of integration, a lot of data processing, a lot of extraction, a lot of artificial intelligence integration, right? But we did this within 2 months, right? And which deliver real value to that organization. Moving on to my another example, which is going to also be very brief. Um, Another company I work with is it's actually very recent, is with a company, a global utility company. One of the key business challenges they faced was efficiently managing field inspection and service requests. So inspectors, they have inspectors and technicians. They were often burdened with manual data entry, which most time leads to the delay in creating service requests for their customer, or scheduling resources, or maybe assigning technicians to go and fix those issues. So a lot of inefficiencies impacted their customer satisfaction and operational costs. So they were losing customers to their competitors, which is one of the key for every organization. So to address this, one of the first thing I did was I developed a solution leveraging Power Platform again and Dynamics 365 Feed Service. So the goal was to create an intuitive, intelligent, and scalable application that streamline feed inspection using image recognition. And we're talking about AI here as well, image recognition and object detection technology. So the key solution components are Power Apps, which is a Canvas app for feed inspection. So we designed a and built a Canvas app, Power Apps, to act as a technician's primary tool. So what the app does, it allows users to perform inspection by simply taking a picture of the area or of the question. So the capability was enhanced using Azure Cognitive Service for image recognition and object detection. So for example, if a technician could take a picture of a damaged utility pole or an overgrown area or faulty equipment, right? The app then automatically analyzed that image to identify the type of issue, such as it could be a damaged transformer, it could be vegetation encroachment, it could be anything. It does that analysis, then it creates so there is an image. So once the image is processed, the app automatically creates a service request in Dynamics 365. It logs the issue details such as type, priority, location. So it reduces the need for manual data entry. And then AI again, utilize what we call RSO. It's called resource optimization in Dynamics 365. Also part of the Power Platform integration as well. So it matches the service request most suitable technician. So let me give you a background to that. Usually before, they will have to call their technician, are you available to pick this service request? They will look at availability. They have an Excel sheet to look at people that has been assigned service request. But we took away that process. We used RS, or resource schedule optimization, to match service, which matches the service request to the most suitable technician based on skills, proximity, and availability. One of the issues was they were, for example, if someone is in Lagos and a customer had issues in Abuja, they will schedule technician in Lagos to go to Abuja. And ideally, they have technicians that are capable, that are within Abuja, which is operational, it's increasing the operational cost. So the RSO, the AI integration, gave them the flexibility. It looks at the skills of the technician, is he to handle it, the proximity to the location of the issue, and the availability of that technician. Then it schedules the maintenance and repair work and assign the technician automatically. So when that is assigned, right, the technician then receive the assigned work order on their mobile device via the feed service Canvas mobile app that I talked about before. They complete the details, location. They can upload. They see the image that is up during the inspection. They can carry out the repair or maintenance and update the status of the job directly in their mobile app, which is on Canvas app, and then send it to the backend system. So the solution delivered significant value. So, for example, the turnaround time they were using to fix issues, scheduling, assigning technicians, reduced from, okay, for example, the first thing is even the issue detection, because it took time to see what is the issue, what is going on. The AI in Power Platform in Azure is detecting the issue for them, is assigning technician. It minimizes the errors from creating manual data entry as we used to, the miscommunication between service advisors, the customer, and then the customer experience was awesome. This relied solely on automation on Power Platform, no manual process, So the solution is very scalable. They've been using it for over 4 years now. The solution is scalable for other inspection types such as meter reading or environmental compliance, which could be productionized for other areas of or other industry. And the technology we use here is Azure Cognitive Services. You guys that will be interested in Azure, you don't have to like be core focused on Power Apps, model driven, or Canvas app. Again, the solution I just about now exemplifies how integrating AI driven capabilities within the Microsoft Power Platform and how it is revolutionizing operations of organization. It's not only the processes, it empowers users, it empowers organization solution, ultimately enhancing their customer trust and satisfaction. Yeah, now talking about the emerging job opportunity within the platform technology. So there is a growing talent demand. I need you to understand that if you are very Power Platform, you are, I would say you have 80% chance other colleagues to get a job opportunity. So as Power Platform adoption skyrockets, right, so does the demand for high impact talents. The high impact talent. I mean, we are seeing a surge in demand for which are actually like local developers. According to LinkedIn, looking at my screen here, yeah, according to LinkedIn, and international, there has been a 500% of in demand for Power Platform professionals. I mean, past 1 or 2 years. How can you see yourself in that scale, right? This growing ecosystem is for a wide range of roles. And I think Kay mentioned some of the roles that you can explore. And but what is exciting is that this demand spans both technical and business roles. Right? Whether you are a pro developer working on a solution now that there is you have to write C# as plugins. Whether you're a pro developer, you are a business analyst, or just someone with a passion for automation and innovation, or you like data, or you want to like, and there is a clear path for you in this space. There is a clear path for you in this ecosystem. Organizations are actively hiring for roles such as Power, AI and machine learning engineer, functional consultant, solution architect, Power BI developer or analyst, and center of excellence leads. This is an area that you can also explore. Like, no, I don't like tech, I don't want to the center of excellence, which we call like these roles are critical for building solutions like in framework, ensuring that solutions are scale they can scale, ensuring scalable growth. Is not just building flows, but combining driven decisions, automation strategy, user-centric design, governance, AI integration to deliver not just application but enterprise solutions. So in essence, what I would say is companies are just looking for people who can use the tools, who can use the Power Platform to. They need professionals who can design intelligent solutions, who can govern responsibly. Because we talked about data, we talked about security, but it's not for me on the call to talk about that here today. We talk about digital. I mean, we talk about driving transformation at scale. The demand going to grow from here, right? So you have all the opportunities to explore. So looking at the career pathways and areas to upskill, the best part about low code platform is that you don't need to be a traditional software engineer to succeed. Like me, that I started as a traditional software engineer, right? My background is software engineering. Right? You don't really need to be a traditional software engineer to succeed. Tools like Power Apps, Power Automate, Power Virtual Agent, sorry, I'm using Power PVA is now it has now evolved into
Copilot
Copilot,
Studio.
Copilot Studio, Copilot Power Solutions. They are to be accessible to everyone, for business users to seasoned IT professionals, to people who are just data geek, you explore. So there is a well-defined certification pathway for you, starting with PL100. I think there is fundamental, I'm not sure. Yeah, I think there is PL100 for app makers, progressing through the PL200, which is a Power Platform functional consultant, PL400 Power Platform developer, and then advancing to PL500, which is for robotic process automation. I can talk about Power Platform from now till next year, for robotic process automation, and the PL600 for architects. So for those looking to explore AI integrations, AI ones would be very good for you. So that focuses on building intelligent solution using Azure AI services. But certifications are just one part of the journey. Power Platform ecosystem is backed by vibrant, from Microsoft Learn to GitHub to LinkedIn Learning to YouTube creators like Reza Durrani, Epridonam, all those YouTube Power Platform creators within the Microsoft ecosystem, user that you can join, and tech community events to flagship experience like the platform conference, which I always love to attend. There are endless opportunities to learn, to share, and to grow, So, and for real world exposure, well, go for hackathons, right? AI, local challenges, which is going to provide you hands experience. It's going to give you invaluable networking. It's going to help you as professionals to sharpen your skills. It's going to help you to sharpen your skills and stay ahead of the curve. Now, one of the most powerful aspects I like when I interview people in my role, I've hundreds of people coming to search for opportunity. What I look is what are your transferable skills. I'm not looking at skills. Well, what are the transferable skills that I can bring to my team? Yeah? One of the most powerful aspects of the Microsoft Power Platform is the skills the skills you build go far beyond. These are highly transferable capabilities that extend into areas like AI development, automation, data engineering, integration, and solution architecture, right? So looking at this, it highlights some of those critical skills that I like to see, from data modeling and visualization with Dataverse and Power BI, and governance awareness, which is essential for enterprise grade solutions, to integration know-how. Can you even think? Do you have reasonability to look at? Okay, we can put automations here. We can do this. Integration know-how, understanding APIs, connectors, and even Azure services, and UI UX thinking, talking about user experience, crafting intuitive solution, user-friendly and flows, So together with core competency in business analysis, automation, solution design, these skills are going to equip you in a cross-functional roles and pivot into more strategic position, especially if you have started your career in Power Platform, you are looking at to grow, strategic positioning of yourself. This is what makes the not just a product suite, right? It's a career accelerator that opens door across IT, business, and innovation. Now, this is my last slide, I guess. So the future outlook. So looking ahead, for me, the Power Platform is only going to grow in influence. When I talk to people, when I talk to not just young professional, even senior professional in the industry, or when I'm looking at a project, I tell them, let's plug in Power Platform here. The Power Platform is only going to grow in its influence because, so for example, with AI capabilities like Copilot and generative integration, users are already building solutions faster, smarter and more efficiently than ever before. I've, of course, I manage teams, right? But I've get my hands dirty with AI, integrating AI in Power Platform and business applications. So the number of organizations using Microsoft Copilot as such from 63,000 in, I think, when was it officially in July 2023 or so, to 480,000 by September 2024.
Wow.
That's really massive. That's really massive. If you just take that opportunity, from 63,000 to 480,000, that's really massive. Just under 1 year, the platform now has over 1,400 certified connectors. Maybe Cake with us on another webinar. Connectors are like your integration, like your API that pro developers would you can quickly just connect applications to each other using those connectors. So there has been an increase from, I think, 1,000 in May 2023 to 1,004, which is basically to enhance the integration capability across various services. So we are seeing a clear shift. As a technology leader, I'm seeing a clear shift in how non-technical employees are becoming app creators, and organizations are embedding the platform at the heart of their digital transformation strategy. So, to wrap up, Power Platform is not just a trend, it's a global movement. It's reshaping how businesses operate, how professionals, opportunities are, and this is the perfect time to skill up, part of the transformation. Yeah, I'm happy for you guys to connect with me for career advice. And if you are on a project and you need support, willing to offer my technical skill, and yeah, so thank you for listening, and I hope this inspires you to explore what's possible with Power Platform. Thank you.
Wow. Wow. Thank you so much. A round of applause. Thank you so, so, so much. If you've learned something, if you've gained something from that section, a round of applause. Personally, I haven't gained a lot because when you're speaking with a leader, you get to learn a whole lot. And Tolu is a real leader. We worked together in the past, and it was really, really amazing. So thank you so much, Tolu. We
Thank you.
really appreciate having you. Thank you for answering us when we called.
Take care.
And yeah, you've shared a whole lot of great insights. So while Tolu is still, does anyone have a question? Do you have a question? If you have a question, put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. Adiola can assist him. If you have a question for Tolu, he's a very busy man, and it's really a privilege to have him here today. So if you have a question or comment, maybe you enjoyed the session, just put it in the chat. Oh, thank you so much. If you've learned something, what did you learn? You can put it in the chat.
Yeah, I'm happy to
Awesome.
answer question for the next 1 or 2 minutes, in
Yeah.
the session.
So any questions, put it in the chat. Okay, I think there's a certification.
Your 300. When you are listing the okay, you're muted.
Yeah, sorry. So I was talking about how Microsoft is trying to, so it's a strategy, right? How Microsoft is trying to take out Power BI from the entire Power Platform suite. It started with Power Platform, a part of Power Platform, but now PL 300 is basically focused on the area, you know. So it's, if you want to go the part of data, Power BI analysis and all that, that's 300. But the focus for Power Platform building enterprise application, which are the app maker, the consultant, the developer, and then, because as a Power BI, you really don't need to be an app maker. You really don't need certification in PL 100 or the like. So PL 300, if you want to explore those data, you can go for the PL 300. I want to understand the difference between Power Platform and Microsoft 365. Microsoft 365 is Microsoft business productivity tools like your OneDrive, your Outlook, your Microsoft Teams, your SharePoint. The likes of your business productivity that you use to interact with your day to day, like the teams we have now. But Power Platform is actually a platform, a technology to build applications, to deliver, to build solutions, to integrate, to automate. Unlike Microsoft 365, which is there for you to use as out of the box standard. You log into your start using your Teams. You start receiving your emails. You download your document in SharePoint. But Power Platform is vanilla, right? You then have to start building apps using platform that we've talked about on the call today. Sometimes I feel when learning Power App, what do you advise on how to learn step by step or a roadmap to follow? Interesting. Many of us are caught up in daily activities, busy, or even maybe people like me, people who like very smart, you're brilliant. I take my time to learn, I'm a slow learner. You can look at Microsoft Learn documentation. They have created, before now it wasn't like that. They have created a step-by-step process on how you can begin as a beginner. I mean, low-level beginner to intermediate to professional to the senior professional. So you don't want to overwhelm yourself, right? One at a time. Even if it's just to look at the the template. They have their template, right? Okay, that you can and see what was done, and then
Yeah.
build on those templates to scale yourself up. So my advice for you to if you want to be an app maker, right? Focus on Canvas app. People are very good with Canvas app. They like UI. They play with UI. If you want to model driven developer, focus on model. And then if you want to be an AI expert, look at AI Builder, and you can use those pre-built models within AI Builder in Power Platform or Azure Cognitive Services. Pick a track. You will always find your opportunity. In the industry now, they will say we are looking for AI engineer. Basically, what they are looking for is people that are very expert in integrating AI Builder or using Azure Cognitive Services within the application that are already built. They are looking at RPA. They are looking at people that are very specialized in PL 500. We are looking at platform developer, people that are very Canvas app and all that. So take a clear direction, start with that, and I would tell you that by the time you get to intermediate level, you would have exposed yourself to a lot of technology within that platform. So please start with Microsoft Learn, step by step track, and then follow through that track.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, brilliant. I didn't see any more questions. Thank you so much, Tolu. We appreciate it. Thank you for those insights. And yeah, Microsoft Learn is so that is available for you some lessons. Of we do offer training on the app. So that would be like a guide. And training, we expect, beginners. We treat you if you're intermediate, we start beginning and we walk you through to become job ready. And at the end of the training also will kind of a certification that you can actually go and start getting a certification journey. And because certification too is a big deal and is also important because it shows your to whoever is trying to speak with you job. Okay, awesome much Tolu. Thank you for taking time out.
Thank you, everyone.
Adeola, over to you.
Bye.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
So hi everyone. Can you hear me? Am I audible? Yeah, so we are going to be going on a break now. So we'll be back by 11:30 EST, just 11:30 West African time. So we can leave now. But if you want to stay, but just make sure you are back here by 11:30 for the continuity of the session. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi all, welcome back. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Are you back? If you're back from the break, can you put a thumbs up? If you're back from the break, give a thumbs up. All right, cool. Thank you for that. So you're going to continue. I hope you enjoyed the wonderful session. A whole lot of great stuff was shared, and we are going to continue now. So we've talked about Microsoft, we've talked about the Power Platform, and we want to talk about Microsoft AI. Now, over 2 million companies use Microsoft AI tools. And as I said, has been existing even before ChatGPT and all of these trendy things today. So Microsoft has different AI tools. Of them, we have the AI Builder, which Tolu mentioned, right? And he said he used it for document processing, extracting information from receipts and things like that. Also have Azure AI. We're talking about Azure, kind of goes away from the low code, and you get to do some coding in when it comes to Azure AI. But that gives you ability to do much more than you can do within the low code. You can do enough, but there are some specialized scenario where you need to do more, and you start to go into your AI. We have the M365 Copilot, which is Copilot that is available. So just kind of like ChatGPT, available within M365. So with M365 Copilot, you can you can chat with your Microsoft Word documents. You can use the Copilot to create documents, augment your work to make your work easier. So you can do that with M365 Copilot. And we have Copilot Studio, allows you to build generative AI chatbots, your organization's data. So just think of it like ChatGPT for your organization's data, or ChatGPT for an app you build. So you can build an app and you integrate it with Copilot Studio, and that allows your users to be able to use conversation to perform things on your app. So maybe they want to create a record, and then click on buttons. They could just chat with the agent you build and say, "Oh, create this document for me," or "create this record for me," and that just happens. So you are able to build all of those things using Copilot Studio. And now this is very interesting because Microsoft has a very strategic partnership with OpenAI. Now, let's just go through some history. When OpenAI started, and OpenAI is the creator of ChatGPT, right? When they started as a research organization, which was not a for-profit, right? It was a research organization, and their goal was to build we called to build a sentient AI, or to build an AI, generalized AI. That was their goal. But you had issues with raising funds at the beginning. And what Microsoft did is Microsoft had a 13 over $13 billion investment in OpenAI. And what this has helped Microsoft do is that anything OpenAI builds, Microsoft has the first seat. They have the frontline seat over anything that OpenAI builds. So everything, so when you're talking about ChatGPT, behind the scene is the same technology that is powering Copilot Studio. So this all the things that you're seeing that is available to the public, you have it within the Microsoft ecosystem. You have it within the ecosystem. And that's very powerful because a lot of organizations, they are not quick to. So when you talk about ChatGPT, you hardly see corporate organizations that are using ChatGPT because concerns over privacy and things like that, right? But they already have that trust relationship with Microsoft, and behind the scene, Microsoft is able to leverage these tools that is creating. Microsoft is able to leverage it and integrate it. So some things that you see on ChatGPT, you start to see them in Copilot Studio. And the amazing thing is, you as a low-code developer, that means within the Microsoft space, you are now able to build, all these advanced intelligence systems or advanced generative AI systems. You are able to build them using the same low-code tools which you are already using. So if someone outside wants to build something that involves ChatGPT, well, they will need to write code, right? But you can still build those same things using the Copilot, using the Microsoft Power Platform space. And companies everywhere are adopting AI, which new career paths. And Tolu mentioned when he was giving this presentation that actually say, okay, I will be an AI champion. I want to be a champion on Copilot Studio, and you focus on it, and there are loads of new. I think he said, to like over 1,000 jobs, space of AI even within the low code space. So that tells you that is growing, and with partnership with OpenAI, you get to build all of these things using these low code tools. So now is the best time to get into this because in demand, companies are actively hiring for Power Platform and AI related roles. It is in high demand, and so it's powered by default, right? As I said, Microsoft has been in AI, and with this partnership, they are still investing more in AI. So everything you do, you can easily integrate AI with them, and it's future proof because the field or the job field, the adoption is increasing, and it's not just increasing, is actually increasing exponentially. And so that tells you that the future proof skill set. And if you're a career switcher, maybe you're doing in the role you are, this career actually great for you because you don't need a background in tech for you to get into this career. So from wherever you are working, from whatever you're doing now, you can actually switch into this career. And as we've said over and over, it's backed by Microsoft investments. They've invested heavily in this field, and the job market is increasing because globally there's growth. It's a demand across industries. So different types of industries, they use the Power Platform, whether it's finance, whether it's banking, whether it is healthcare, whether it is government. All of these organizations, they use Microsoft, and they use the Microsoft Power Platform to build solutions because it is you are able to drive real needs, right? You are able to solve problems, and we saw Tolu give of solutions he has been able to architect. And if you look at it, these are real problems that these businesses are facing, right? And with the Power Platform space, he has been able to build solutions. And that's what I do also in my day job. That's what we do as Power Platform developers. We solve solutions with business problems. And yeah, because of the kinds of organizations that for these roles, you have very competitive salaries, good salaries, and the more you invest in yourself, the more you develop on the skills, the more projects you do, that come your way, or the salaries that you get access to becomes much more. So the way is only up. And I can assure you the way is only up. You just keep getting better and better salaries. This is just an example of some. So in this space, people talk about, jobs, apply to 20 jobs a day, apply to 30 jobs a day, and things like that. But within this space, you have recruiters actually reach out to you because it is in demand, as we've said. This is in demand, and it is actually specialized. So it's not common, it's not everybody that does it. So if you can establish yourself in that space, you can get recruiters message you. And these are just some screenshots of some messages I've gotten from recruiters. And all of this is within the space of the last 2 weeks. So every week I get messages from recruiters with different offers for different roles. And what you see on the screen, you see that there are actually competitive salaries on the role. So look at this and compare it with, the now. If the space, a difference, or if there's a big difference, then that you actually invest in this field, and you get to reap great rewards. Because as I said, once you can establish yourself as an expert in this field, and yeah, it's like of great offers. So, what are the key skills that you need to succeed in this? What are the key skills? It's of so I've kind of to different areas. We have the technical skills, which involves Power Apps, Power Automate, Power BI, data analysis, right? So these are different skills that are related to the Power Platform. Um, and we also heard from Tolu, he showed some of these tools, app with Power App, using Power Automate to move documents from one place to another. And when we get into it, you actually see that putting this is actually very simple and straightforward. But the reason why it's valuable is because you are solving real problems, and problem solving is the second one. When you're building solution, you want to solve problems, you want to make things easier, right? So that's why when you're speaking with your clients, you do discovery. Okay, how are they doing it right now? What current process? And you start looking at how you can make it better. Then talking about soft skills, because those are part of the skills you need to, how do you communicate with clients? How do you influence your clients to, decision? How do you drive change? How do you drive innovation? So these are key skills for that you get to communicate with business stakeholders. So the people using the applications, how do you communicate with them? How do you get them to adopt your solution? How do you get them to adopt your application? So these are different keys for success that you need to have at the back of your mind, and your areas you need to invest in to those skills. And once you can master these skills, to have like better come your way. So Tolu mentioned certification is a very big part of career path. And a lot of recruiters, they actually look at your certifications and use that as a foundation to decide whether, when they should even engage with you, because your certification is your proof of skill. As much as certification is not everything, right? But can help you start those conversations. So, and some good thing about Microsoft certifications is you pay for the exam once, and subsequently you only renew it for free. So you can renew it for free after the first time. Okay, I realize my camera is off. Okay, cool. With certifications, as I was saying, you get pay for the first time. Then subsequently, every year, you just write like a formal exam. Is like a casual exam that you can just write without proctored, so you don't have anybody looking at you when you're writing the exam. And you can do that every year to renew your exam. So because sometimes people are always like, oh, I don't want to write this certification now because it's going to expire, and you have to pay for it again. So, but Microsoft changed that game. And all you have to do with the Microsoft exam is you pay once, you write the exam. Once you pass it, all you do is just renew it for free every year. So that's really good. So don't pull back on your certification goals, irrespective of where you are now. You can start aiming at those certifications, and start getting those certifications, because they will go a long way. And when you tell somebody you've had a certification for the last 5 years, indirectly you're telling the person that you experienced in this field for the last 5 years. So that's also a proof of experience for you. Okay, so you're still with me, give me a thumbs up. I do a tech check after the break, so let's just make sure we're all together. Okay, I can see some claps. I can see a thumbs up. Good. I can see a thumbs up. Beautiful. Thank you. Okay, so I see some. Oh, thank you. All right, so great. It seems like tech is okay. Teams is fine. Google Meet is fine. I think we're off TikTok now, but that's also fine. Okay, great. Yeah, let's the Power Platform family, right? We've mentioned Microsoft Power Platform, and yeah, Microsoft Platform has different components, which I kind of share. So this session, this of the training of this seminar is deep dive. So we're kind of deep dive, and we're going to see some of these things in action. We have a small demo that we just quick put together yesterday, and the demo, and you get to see how some of these things together, and it's just a way to what is possible in this field and how you get to solve business problems. So that's the Microsoft Power Platform is a combination or is a suite of low-code tools that used to build applications or AI processing, suits that brings all of those things together. So we'll look at how Power Platform drives digital transformation. I will look at, the Power Platform, and we will see how you build local solutions, Power Platform. If you're excited for this, put message in the chat, say let's go. Let's get into it. We're going to go for a deep dive. So if you're excited about that, let's go. Okay, cool. Thank you for that. Awesome. So, with the Power Platform, you are able to be a champion of innovation without the need for complex coding skills. You can be a champion of innovation without the need of complex coding skills. And that's why it is called low code, right? So without being too technical, you can actually solve business problems. There is this scenario that Microsoft puts forward of a security at a very big airport in London. And the person was just a security staff. It wasn't an IT person. But over time, he realized some issues in terms of, check people in, and he built a simple application. And over time, that application got to improve their processes and it became adopted across within that airport and within other airports. So you can easily, of how easy it makes it for you to build these things. Once you start identifying issues in your organization, you can start building solutions to them and you become a champion of innovation. Just like first place I worked, when joined every Friday, we had to send like a sheet of all we've done during the week. And it was time taking because you take time out, you have to think of everything you've done, or you document it and you have to start putting it, and it was an email that needed to be sent. So what I did was I built an application that automated that, and it was deployed across the organization. And that was very impactful because I wasn't just saving time for myself, I was saving time for everyone within the organization. And it made me a superstar within that organization, right? So you can build very simple solutions. And I've heard of people that build, solutions. And because of how valuable it is to them, it's kind of profile within your organization. So even if you're in an organization now that doesn't use Power Platform, right? You can, and you're using Microsoft, you can still build solutions and drive that adoption, right? You can build a solution and it can be so good, you share it with your colleagues and, help you improve your profile. My boss at work did something like that, not in her current job or in a previous job. She did something simple and, and everybody thought it was so complex, but she knew it was a very simple solution. But people don't look at it and say, okay, how much time did you spend building it? That's not what people care about. People care about how are you solving my problem, right? So we need to be with a Power Platform. You can be a champion of innovation without, for complex coding skills, and you can build things faster. Rather than taking 3 months to build a solution, you can build it within 2 weeks, right? Because it is a low code tool. And it's not just a local tool, it's a powerful local tool and it is enterprise grade. So that means it is scalable. Large organizations can actually use the solutions you build. So, yeah, Power Platform, you can build custom business solutions, automate processes, analyze data, and integrate AI. Because what look at it and say, okay, why are so many companies adopting the Power Platform? One of the key areas is building custom solutions. So, for example, if you look at off-the-shelf solutions, so look at things like Monday.com or Asana or things like that, they are already built, right? But a lot of different organizations functions differently. So that's why custom business solutions is very powerful because an organization can come and say, "Oh, I need a solution to organize my projects, but we need it in a specialized way because this is how we work." With the Power Platform, you can take that requirement and build a solution that is custom to that business alone, that is custom to that business. So you are solving their problem in the way that they want it. Not so, for example, if you look at Microsoft Word, it's the same for everybody. But a company can come and say, "Oh, I want a document writing, but I want it in a different way." Then you can build a custom solution for them. So, and the power of the Power Platform, and that's why large organizations are. That's why adoption is increasing because it is flexible and it's easy for you to build solutions on them. And in terms of the business value, um, Tolu mentioned what citizen developers. Now, citizen developers are people that building applications using the traditional coding, so they are using low code. So that's the citizen developers. So within the Power Platform, you can be a citizen developer, and even within your team, you can have a traditional developer and you can still collaborate. So, the reason why some other low code tools are not, as big as the Power Platform is they restrict you because a lot of time when you hear low code, you just feel like, oh, you will be able to do what you want to do, or there will be limits, that there will be limitations. But that's where the Power Platform is powerful because where the limits of the Power Platform stop, you can actually extend it using professional code. So you can do a lot of things with low code. You can build enterprise grade solutions with low code. Where you need something extra that is not available with the low code tools, you can get a professional developer and they will just build out that part. So a lot of times is they're just building things like components, they're just building plugins, and you get to integrate those things they've built with the low code tool. So as much as in some cases you need a traditional developer, but you need them for just, and whatever they build, you still get to integrate it with the rest of the Power Platform. And this is just the different components. You've heard us talk about a couple of them. So Power Apps, Power Automate, Copilot Studio, Power BI, Power Pages. We have Power FX, which is like the language of the Power Platform. So if you're going to be, and it looks like Excel. So if you've written formulas in Excel before, you'll be able to write Power FX functions. We have Dataverse connectors, AI Builder, and environments. So, yeah, allows you to build apps. You can integrate it with data. So you build the UI using drag and drop. You integrate it with data, and you can even integrate AI into it. We are going to do a demo now, and this was just a simple application we put together, and it's just a simple to-do list application. And the reason why to-do list application is actually a very nice. So, okay, I can see a chat that says Power FX like DAX. Yes, like DAX, they have some common formulas too. So yes, PowerFX is like DAX. It's like a simplified Excel formulas, and DAX also looks like Excel formulas. So yes, that's a very good there. So yeah, I'm going to try to build something similar to this now, and you just get to see how the Power Platform. So I'm going to bring up my Power Platform environment and we can start having a look at that. Let me see if I can get the TikTok back live. It doesn't seem to work right now. 1 second. Okay, I'm going to bring up my browser. Okay, Okay, can you confirm that you can see my screen? Can you see my screen, guys? Okay, yeah, thumbs up. Beautiful. Thank you. Okay, so just bringing back Teams up. Okay, cool. Also, you can see my screen. Now, this is an example of an application, and you'll be surprised that a lot of times they need very simple applications. They don't need complex things. In a lot of cases, and that's where low code is powerful because if not for low code or a tool like Power Platform, they will need to spend a whole lot of money when they need a very simple application. And they don't need just one. A lot of times they need several little applications, right? They might need one or two huge applications, but a lot of time for them to function effectively, they need several little applications. But the Power Platform gives them just one platform for them to be able to build all of these little applications, right? So as a Power Platform developer, these are the things you get to do in your day to day. You get to build applications. Little when I say applications, it's not just the app. It's end-to-end solution. So you're building the apps, you're building the automation, you are doing the integration. So this is just an example of a simple to-do list application. So here we have an image, we have some text, and we can just click on start, and that brings us into this page. And here we can see the logged in user's name. It's hello, welcome. And we can see different days here. So different activities that I have. So for example, for yesterday, this was the different tasks I had. Then for different days, you have different tasks that we can put. So I can log a task. So if I come here, I say add a new task. I can say, okay, deliver. I can give a description. Power Platform training. Okay. Then I decide whether it is a personal or is a work task. So let me say it's a work task. For the priority, I can decide to give it a priority. Let me say medium. And for the due date, I'm just going to say today and I can click on save. So if I come into my work tasks, now I can see that task here. So it's very simple. Then I'd go ahead, once I've completed the task, I can go ahead and mark it as completed. Very simple. But as I said in one of my organizations, I built a timesheet application which is very similar to this, just keeping track of your tasks and activities. So I can see I had this up. You have a question? Okay. Oh, it says, oh, okay. I think I've asked the question previously. Yeah. Take a breather next. We'll have a look at that scenario you raised. Okay. Cool. This is just an example of a simple application, and it's is more streamlined than the application I built for tracking timesheets, but it's a very simple application that you can just put together within minutes. And we're going to try to do that now. So before we do it, let's just walk through the Power Platform. Let's see what different tools look like and how you start building something as simple as. Oh, another part of this application is we have the Copilot. We have built a Cop agent that can allow me to chat with my data. So over here, when I click on this Copilot over here, I see hello, I'm to-do list helper, a virtual assistant. Just so you are aware, I sometimes use AI to answer your questions. If you provide a website during creation, try asking it about it. So basically, I can just say, give me a summary of my to-do list items. So it's going to run, have a look at my data source, and present the result back to me. Okay. Yes, I think it was talking about the question you raised the other time, which we will have a look at. Okay. So yeah, it's just telling me, okay, here's a summary of your to-do list, completed task. We saw take out the trash previously. So it shows me when I completed it, who created it, delivered, and it's giving me all of this information just through chat. So as I said, with Cope, so this is just like saying a chat GPT that I've created for this app. And you can build different apps and create different agents for those apps. So this can really drive business value because rather than the user having to click on the screens and look for information, they can just basically chat with their data. So and still within the Power Platform. So there's a whole lot to learn, but the good thing is they are very simple tools for you to pick up. So let's look at some of these tools. Let's look at Power Apps, let's look at Power Automate, and let's look at Copilot Studio. So if you want to build an app with Power App, you can go to make.powerapps.com. Though you need an organization account. So we're going to training after this seminar. We're going to run a training, as I said earlier, that will take you from beginner to job. So when we're in the training, we'll show you how you can actually set up a tenant, because you need a Microsoft tenant for you to be able to build apps on the Power Platform. So we're going to show you how you can set it up. But over here, I have a tenant, and that's what we are using. So once you have a tenant and you have your Power Platform, you can go to makethepowerapps.com, as I've done here, and it brings you to this homepage. This is where you can start to build your apps. So over here, you can see you can start with data. If you choose start with data, maybe you already have an existing data source, you can convert that into an app. So in a lot of organizations, they use Excel for some data, right? And they share the Excel to different people, and different people are using Excel. Why not make that an app, right? So you can take such a Excel sheet and you can convert it into a app by using the stats from data. We have stats from page design, and you can choose different design layouts. And in some cases, you can actually draw a sketch of the application, and we give you a starting point. So you provide it into the Power Apps, and the Power Apps uses AI to change that into some controls, and you can use that as a starting point for your app development. And there are a lot of app templates too, especially when you are still learning. You can click on these app templates and see ways that been able to build some solutions, and you can use that to learn. And if you scroll down here, we see different learnings. And Tolu mentioned this also. This is connected to Microsoft Learn, and you see different resources you can use to learn Power Platform. So this is self-paced, so you can go do it according to your time. And as I said, we also offer training for the Power Platform. So this is the Power Apps homepage. Let me show you the Power Automate homepage. Okay, I can feedback from somewhere. So for the Power Automate homepage, you go to make, okay, I think it's from Charles. So if you can mute yourself, Charles. Then they try to do that. Yeah. Okay, done. Power Automate, the homepage is make.powerautomate.com. Okay, I like that. Okay, so coming up. And here, this is the Power Automate homepage. You see, it's very similar to the Power Apps homepage. Over here, you can create different types of automation, which I'm going to show you here now. So let's let the page load up just now. So these are different types of automations. You can create an automated cloud flow. Now, automated cloud flow means when something happens in the cloud, you want to trigger a flow. So for example, to run this event, a lot of us, Microsoft form, I created a flow that says when somebody submits the form, send them an email, right? I wasn't the one manually sending those emails, right? It's an automated flow. So once the response comes in, the email goes out. So that's an automated cloud flow. You can say when somebody creates a record, when somebody uploads a document, send it to this, right? When somebody sends an email with a particular subject, do this, right? So you can create automated flows with the option. You have instant cloud flow. So maybe there's a task I do often. Maybe every morning I need to send an email to my manager and say, oh, I have to work. Rather than having to type that email every day, I could create an instant cloud flow. And what that means is once I click a button, whatever I've designed in the flow, it's going to perform that action. So that's an instant cloud flow. We also have a scheduled flow. A scheduled flow, you can schedule. So you can say every day by 10 o'clock, check this folder and see if there's a new document. If there's a new document, upload it to SharePoint, right? You can do things on a schedule by using this schedule flow option. And now we have describe it to design it. So that means you can just use chat and tell the AI what you want, right? Just give it a description of the flow you want, and the AI will design it for you, right? Though, we pilot with AI, early days of a lot of things, so you might not get the exact results you want at first. So, and this is a message for everyone. As much as you're using AI tools, know the technology that those AI tools are doing, because if you are using AI tools without knowing the technology, then you are setting yourself up for failure, right? So as much as you're using AI tools to do different things, make sure that you still spend time to know those things, because it will help you do more with the AI tools. We have desktop flows. Now, desktop flows, you can do automation on a computer. So for example, there are some things you need to do on your computer, but you don't want to sit down and do it all the time. You can just click a button and it does it for you. So we have process mining, which is a bit more advanced, but is a way you can help organizations their business processes. How do they find the fastest way to perform an action? So maybe salespeople, for example, they send email to their customers. What's the fastest way to send an email? You can figure that out by doing process mining. Are we on track? Am I too fast? Am I talking too much? So give me a thumbs up if you are still on track with me. If you're learning something, I'll up for a bit so that I hear. So you can tell us, learned so far, because this is just 2 hours, but you can see it's a loaded section. So yeah, I'd like to see what you've learned so far. And you can put it in the chat. So what have you learned so far? Put it in the chat. What have you learned so far? Put it in the chat. Okay, let me wait for some responses. What have you learned so far? Anybody? Okay, I get some thumbs up. All right. I think later on we would actually speak up with our microphones and, conversation of what we've learned so far. Awesome. Now, the other one I want to show you is the Copilot Studio. So the homepage for that is copilotstudio.microsoft.com. And over here, this is where you get to build your AI agents. The whole idea of AI agents is you build the agents to do stuff for you. And how the way AI agents is different from Power Automate is the agents can actually reason, they can make decisions, they can help you organize, they can help you format your text, do much more. So just like chat actually think, and you can just talk to ChatGPT and say, oh, I have this problem and what's the best way to solve it. It's more like it's more like a friend. So you can build AI agents that can do things for you, and you're able to do it consistently based on the instructions you give them. So let's just give this a minute to load. Awesome. So I can see somebody that um talked about for businesses problems without having go through the process of traditional programming. Awesome. So yeah, as we said, is a webinar, which I think we'll call it from now, is to expose you to this field, to show you what is possible, right? To show what is possible. As much as we're going to do like a demo, you still need that in-depth training to be able to maximize this to the potential. So yeah, I can see someone says, they used to create apps from Power Apps, Copilot, Start with Data, Blank Canvas, beautiful. Okay, so this is the agents. This is the agent view. The agents field. Let's switch to this environment. So shortly we are going to build out, do list application, and we will see the AI agent integration. Okay, that's taking some time to load. Okay, seems to be coming up now. Okay, so this is the Copilot Studio. So as I said, with Copilot Studio, you can actually build you can build AI agents similar to ChatGPT, but focused on your organization's data. So these are some examples that you've put together. In terms of the one that I integrated with that app that I showed you just now that helped us summarize, I've created it here. So you can see it here, to-do list helper. So that's something I've created. I've pointed it to my data, and I've given it instructions of what to do. So we would try to walk through these areas and start something together. So let's go for it. So there a concept called solutions, and the concept of solutions is when you're building a solution, you want to put all the components that you're going to need, you want to put it together in a container so that you can easily move them around. And that's what solution is about. So now I'm on the Power Apps homepage and I'll click on solutions. So now I want to create a container to put all the components I need. So now I want to build a to-do list solution. So I need to put them in a container. So everything I need will be together. So here I'm in the solutions tab. I can click on new solution and I'll say new to-do list solution. Right. And here we have publisher. Publisher is a way to recognize what organization built the solution. So over here I've added okay, so I'm just going to choose this publisher and click on create. Okay, I'll track. So now this solution, an empty solution right now. You can see everything here says zeros. But gives you an idea of different things you can add to a solution. You can add an agent, that's the Copilot agent I was talking about. You can add an agent to a solution. You can add apps to solutions. You can add cards. You can add a cloud flow. Cloud flow is the Power Automate flow, the automations. You can add your data. So here we're just going to create a new app. So let's say new app, and we have three different types of apps you can create. We have the Canvas model driven. This page is like a model driven app too. But here we are going to create a Canvas app. And Canvas apps gives you the most flexibility when you're building your apps. So here I'm just going to call this to-do list app. And you can choose the layout, whether you want a tablet layout or the phone layout. So here I'm just going to choose phone layout and click on create. And you might have been wondering, okay, when you use these applications, how do people actually use it? So people use it on the browser, just like I showed you earlier. And they can also install the Power Apps mobile app. So they can install a Power Apps app from your Play Store or iOS store, and they will see the list of apps you've created there. So once they go in, they can actually use your app. So say, because I've used a mobile view here, I know my users are going to be using this app on their mobile phone. So they can download the Power Apps app and use it from there. So that's how you deploy your app to your users. So here you can see we've started with a blank screen. And if you come to the left here, you see insert. And these are different types of components you can add. So if I want a text, I can add a text label. I can add a form, a gallery. I can add different things. So you can see button, text input, pen input. So maybe you want people to be able to sign signature. You can do that. We have different things. We have different media. You can add images, 3D objects, um, cameras, audio. You can add different things. And talking about AI, we have some AI components you can add to. You can add business card reader, receipt processor, form processor, object detector, text recognizer. Now, these are the out of the box ones, but you can also create your custom AI models to do what is customized for your actual business. So, as I said, it's very flexible in terms of what you can do. So, let's start building out this application. So, first of all, I'm going to add a container. I'm going to add a vertical container. So now we can see the container is on the screen, and you see I can actually move it around. I can resize it if I want. And yeah. So in terms of how you control or how you customize the different controls you add to your screen, on the right here, we can see properties, and you can toggle it open and close from over here. Now you see properties, and with the properties here, you can customize whatever control you have selected. So here we see I've selected container. I can rename it. Let me rename it to main container, right? So now I've renamed it. So now I want to resize it. For this one, I want it to fill up the whole screen. So what I can do is for the X property is for the x-axis, right? We x property, we have y property for the y-axis. So I want it to start from this top left here. So I can select it for the x, I set it to 0. For the y, I set it to 0. Now for the height, I want it to fill up the whole height. So there are two ways I can go about it. I can either just maximize it like this, I can stretch it. But a better way to do it, because different phones have different sizes. If I stretch it like this, you use it on a smaller phone, then some things are not going to show. Or if I stretch it like this and you use it on a bigger phone, then it's not going to scale up. So if I want it to scale according to the screen size, I can write a simple formula and say, so if I reduce it again, I can write a simple formula and say parent.height. So which is quite straightforward because I want it to be as tall as the parent. So get the parent height. And this is a tree view. So tree view shows the parent-child relationship. So in this case, I'm saying fill up that. And for the width too, I can do the same, parent.width. And now I'm sure irrespective of the screen size, is going to maximize to fill up the screen. Beautiful. So the next thing I want to add is inside this container, I want to add an image. So I can search for image. Okay. Then I want to add a text label. I think I need two text labels. We add another text. Then I want to add a button. Okay. So the way I like to work is that I like to put all the controls I need first, then now work on the styling, making it look the way I want it to look. So now I've added those controls to this container. For the image, I can upload the image. So now I have the image selected. So whatever you select determines what property shows up here. So here I've selected image. I can come over to the image property and click on upload. So now that I've selected that, I can come over here and click on this image. Okay, so the image that was there. Now in terms of the text, let me check what text we had over here. So are you following? If you're on track with me, give a thumbs up. If you're enjoying it, thumbs up. Okay, great. Now I understand, you'll be following along, but when we are in our training session, you will actually be following along. You will actually be doing these things so you have the muscle memory also. So for now, you're probably just watching, but you'll get into the actual training session. We'll set up and you can actually get hands-on with it. Okay. So it says to do, then it says your day simplified, track focus achieved. Okay. So here for the text, I can come here and type to do, and you can choose the font type you want. Here I'm just going to increase this. Let me increase it to 50. Let me give it a font weight of bold, right? And let me centralize the text. Then for this one, I could say it again. I could say your day simplified track, let's just say track, do, achieve. Okay. And that over there now. For this, I can put semi-bold and also centralize the text. Uh, okay, text. For the button, we can say, let me see what's here. It says start. So for the button, I can come to the text property and change it to start. So if you've done any form of app development before, you will see how simple this is, right? Because you are not caring about any code. Usually you will need to write code to show all of these things or able to move them around. But now we are just doing it on a visual tool. So yeah, it's a very easy thing to do, to be fair. It's very easy. What makes it complex is the actual logic you're trying to solve. How do you implement those logic, which we're still going to talk about anyway. Okay, so this is over here. So we have the to do simplified day, we have the start button. Beautiful. Now for the button, you can change the colors. So I'm just going to choose one of these colors here. I say that's my fill color. Okay, I copy so this is the color code. You can use colors. So this color code, we have RGBA. This is R, this is the red value, this is the gray value, this is the blue value, and this is transparency. So if I want it to be transparent, I can actually do that easily setting the color value to transparent. Okay, so but that's here. So another thing we can do is we can just space this out a little bit like this. Then we can put a padding. So if I want to put a padding, I can put a padding to the bottom and say, give a padding of, let's say, okay, that's good actually. Or let me say 250 from the bottom. And now we have this here. So basically, we've been able to create, able to add the elements. We've used a container to put them together. So for example, this button, I can put a border radius. I'm not going to care too much about the design. I just want to show you the idea of creating applications. Let me increase this a little bit more. Let me just say 60. Okay. And here we've created this screen and still make it wider. Maybe I want it to be wider. I can say, let's see. Okay, let's say 550. Okay, yeah, that. So that's screen one done. And I could create a new screen. If you want to create a new screen, you can come here and you have different templates you can choose from. I'm just going to go for blank. And so for this screen one, let me just name it to welcome screen. And for this one, I'm just going to call this to-do list screen. Okay. So that screen is still blank, but basically when the user clicks this button, we want it to go to the to-do list screen. How can we do that? If you click on this button at the top left here, we have some properties. So we can go to the on select property. So you see, it's kind of conversational on select property, and that's the code that is run when you select the button. And we'll write a simple function. As I said, they are like Excel formulas because it's very conversational. So if I want to go to the next screen, I can just say navigate. And what does navigate mean? Navigate means go to, right? So I can say navigate, and now it's asking me what's the target. I can say to do list screen. So basically here I've said navigate to the to-do list screen when the user selects this button. So let's say that in play. So if I click on this, I can click on this start, and now it has navigated me to the list screen. So that's good. I would say the first screen is done. Now we'll come here and start building out the to-do list screen. So I'm going to go for a simplified version of what we had before. So first of all, let me add a container. It's always good to use containers when building apps because it helps you make your app responsive if it's needed. So here I'm going to set it to X and Y to 0, just like we did before. The width to parent.width, the height to height. Okay. So the layout, I also have a header, so I can create a header. So for that, I'm going to use a horizontal container. Though that's selected the gallery instead. So let me delete that. If you want to delete stuff, you can do it. Just click on this action icon and delete. So over here, I'm going to click on insert and search for horizontal container. Okay, so that's been added. I can set the height to 70 and give it a color of, I think this was the color I chose before. So let's stick with that theme. Okay, so like a form of a header. I can add a text I can add a text that says, let me just say to do app or to do, okay, let me give it this way. So to do app, yes, I've added that text. I can change the color to white. Okay, add this over there now. I can decide and say, oh yeah, I want to show the logged in user's profile image. For that, what do I need? I need an image, so I can add an image. So that's the beauty of visual tools. You decide what you're going for and you add the elements. Once you add the elements, then you customize it. If you are writing code, you would need to write a whole lot of code to, get this layout. So here for the height, let me see height to 70. The width, let me set it to 70. Then I want to make it rounded, so I'll set the border radius to 70. And now we have this circle for image, but the image doesn't show yet. Now I want to show the user's image. What PowerFX function do you think I would need for that? In this case, you see it is user.image. You see, they've actually taken time to, functions relate directly to what you're trying to achieve, right? Which makes it more intuitive. Okay, so now I'm looking at this and I see this image is too close to this edge. I want to give it a little space. I can do that with padding. So I can select this container, which I can rename to header. So let me rename that to header. So we are selected. I can give it a padding left of 20, the padding right of 20, right? Then maybe I make it taller. I can make it taller, then centralize its content. So if I want the content to be centralized, I can click on this and centralize it that way. So now we kind of have space around. Beautiful. Are we on track? If you're with me, give a thumbs up. If you're learning something, give a thumbs up. Okay, so we are live on Teams and Google Meet. So good. All right. So we're making progress. So next, I want to add this area. So if I come back here, I want to add this tabbing, this form of a tabbing. Awesome. So I want to add this form of a tabbing switcher, which is easy to do. So I can click on this container again. Here, I'll just call it main container. Then I can say underscore TD. Okay, so main container here, I select that. I can add a horizontal gallery. Let me use this one and allow you to view a list of records, right? And in this case, we are just going to have a simple record that says personal work, right? And now it shows up in this way, but this is not the format we want. We just want buttons. So I can come in here and delete these ones, select this and add a button. Okay. Now notice the text says button, but we can change that. So if we come to the text property, we can change it and say, okay, for selected item, get me the value. So we just say this item dot value, and now we see personal and work, which is coming from this data source, items property, and you find it here too as data source. So next, we just want to format it and just keep everything more together. So I can click on this button. I can even drag it and say, okay, I want to go up here. I can give it a little space, right? Then I can click on this template item, then set the, okay, so I have the gallery selected. I can set the template size. So let me set it to 200. Let's see, okay, that's too small. So let's say 400, that's too much. So let's say 350, that's a bit better. Let me say 300, which is good enough. I'll just make it 320. Perfect. So for the height, I can set the height to, let me say 70. Okay, that's too much. So I can say 100. Okay, that looks good. So we have this, and now I'd still take it a step further and say, now the item is selected. We want to disable the button. So we can write a simple function that says if this item dot is selected, display mode dot disabled. So that means I want to disable the button when it is selected. So now we see personal is selected by default. If I select work, now work is disabled, personal is enabled. So that looks good. I can come over here and just change the color of the button. So let's use the same color we've been using. And so that's in place. So the next thing is we want to have this list of, what's it called? This list of brain fog, this list of to-do lists. Yeah. Okay. We do that. Right now, we've not connected our app to data. So the next thing we want to do is to connect our app to a data source. To that, if we come over here, we see data. So we have the tree view, we've seen insert, now we're seeing data. So I can click on data and say add data. And we see different tables that we have. So these are Dataverse tables. You can have AI models, that we talked about, document recognizer, entity and sentiment analysis, those kind of things. You can integrate it directly from here. You can integrate different data sources. So if you have your data in L, you can connect it. If you have your data in Airtable, you can connect it. Wherever your data is, you can connect it to the app you're building. So over here, I have a data in the Dataverse. So I'm just going to see here with to-do lists. So I can click on that, and now the data is in my app. So, but it doesn't show yet because I've not added a control to show it. So for that, I'm going to add a gallery. Now, galleries allows you to see a list of records. And here I'm going to go for a vertical gallery. Okay. So did not add inside my container. So I can do a cut, paste it inside my container. So as I said, it's always good to use containers because it helps you with your layouts where you're trying to make things responsive. So now it has added this gallery under here, exactly where I want it to be. But now it's just showing lorem ipsum. We want to change the data source to the to-do list data that we just added. So I can select the gallery. Um, Over data sources, and here we see to-do lists. So I can click on that, and it's going to change the data source to the to-do list items. Okay, so that is there already. So the data source is there already, but we see the data yet. So we can come over here and so let me select the right list to-do lists. So we can come over here, then say this item dot. So if I say this item dot, we see the different columns that are in that table. So we can see email, task, the title, and the other columns, whether it has been completed, the date it was completed, what's the category. We can see all of those things. So in this case, I want to show the task, which is the task name. And now that I've selected that, I can see the task name shows up. Cool. Here it shows, for this one, it shows the due date. I think I'm happy with it showing the due date. Maybe I also want to see the priority. So I can add a new text. So, or instead of adding a text for the priority, let's add a shape. So let's add a circle at the beginning. So I'm just going to say insert and I'll search for circle. Okay. I can resize that. I think it might be better I do it from here. So let me set the width to 30 and the height to 30. Okay. Then I just place it here. I don't need this image, so I'm going to delete this image. All right. So for the circle, in terms of the color, I'm just going to change it here and say, 1 second. So I'm just going to change. So I want the color to change dynamically based on the priority. So I'm just going to say if, or I can use a switch for this. So I can say switch. So it's just a way of doing an if, but you can do it with multiple conditions. So I can say switch, or to keep it simple, let me use the if. So I can say if item dot priority equals dot okay, complete this one here. So equals priority dot high. So if it is high priority, I want it to be color dot red. Then else if this item dot priority dot so let me medium, let's say color dot, is there amber? Okay, let me just say yellow. Okay, then just say else color dot green. So let's just recategorize it that way. So now you can see we have different colors, right? And that code wasn't too difficult to write. And because basically what really drives your solution when you're building Power Apps is the business logic. So an understanding of the business logic. That's why you do things like discovery. because you want to understand what the business logic is. The actual implementation is not a whole lot of work, but understanding the business logic, that's where the work is, because that's what's going to allow you to create a custom solution that's adequate for the business. All right. So are we on track? Are you with me? Any questions so far? Any questions so far? Okay. So the next thing I just want to do is now if you look at if I click on play, and by clicking on play, that's how you can preview your app. So if I click on play, now I can see how a user is going to interact with the app. They can click around here. But you notice once I click on work and personal, it doesn't filter this list. So we want to filter it. How can we do that? So this is a gallery. So I like to do it this way. For this one, I can just call it category tab. Okay. So that name. And now the reason why we're seeing everything is this data source just has the list, the name here. So it's showing everything. If I want to filter it, I can add a code to filter it. So I can say filter, as you can see again, is just descriptive based on what I want to achieve. So I can say filter this data list and what's the condition I want to use. So where the category is equal to, so for this, I'm going to change this data source. So rather, since I've added my data source, I want to get these options from the actual data source. So I can say choices. So this is category. So I can say choices category to-do list. Okay. And that is still giving me the same data. So, but now we know that it's coming from the actual to-do list data source. So here I can say filter this category equals this one. Categories equals the category tab dot selected. So basically whatever option is selected dot value. Okay, then I close this. And now this is going to filter based on what is selected. So now these are the personal items. These are the work items. Okay, and to be sure, instead of this information that is down here, let me just say this item dot category. Okay, so we can see that once I'm in the work tab, I can see the work categories, and over here I can see the personal one. Cool. So I'm just going to add a checkbox that we can use to mark it as completed. So to do that, I'll go back to insert. I'll search for checkbox. Click on checkbox. I'm just going to resize it, place it here. I don't need this text, so I'll take that away and just resize it. Let me reduce the checkbox size to say 40 or 35. Okay, so I'm just going to resize it again and bring it over here. All right. So for this text, I'm going to make it a bit larger. I'll set the font size to 20. Right, good. Okay, I'm going to make it semi-bold. So I'm just going to select that from here and say semi-bold. All right. So for this checkbox, we can change the color just like before. So I can say the checkbox color, change it to this. So we're a bit brand. And the next thing we need to do is to decide what happens when a user clicks on the checkbox. So right now, nothing happens, but we can decide what happens. So over here, we can go to the on. So for checkboxes, we have on. So if I say on check, I can write a code that says patch. So patch is a way to update a data source. I can say patch the data source. What's the name of the data source? The to-do list. Okay. So now, what do I want to patch? So patch is just like say update. Then I want to patch this item, which is the currently selected record. Then what column do I want to update? In this case, I want to update this complete column, and I want to set that to true. So if I'm checking this checkbox, I'm saying that yes, it's complete. What else do I want to do? The completed date column, I want to set it to the current date and time, which is now. So basically what's going to happen is if a user checks this box, it's going to go to this data source, update this currently selected item, set is complete to true and set the completed date to the correct data type. We can also go to uncheck and do the same. In this case, we are not going to update the completed date. We'll just set is complete to false. Okay. So that, and now if I click on this, you would see it's kind of processing and it has updated it, but I don't see it here because there's a step I need to do next. So the defaults, to set the defaults to this item dot is complete set. Okay. So now I've done that. Once I mark something as complete, I'm going to see it even when I change. So in this case, these two are complete. If I click on this, it's going to update it, and now it's no more completed. And so for schedule meeting, I can click on it, and now it's completed. So that's how you can build a simple to-do list app over. So now, how do you actually create new records? So you can create a new record, and that will be very quick. So we can add a new screen, a new blank screen. We can update this. We can call it forms. Okay, and here let's start with a container. So we'll say a vertical container, just like we've done before. 0, 0. Parents.width, parents.height. Then we want to add a form. So we can search for a form, which is the edit form, and also add a button. Now this button is what is going to save the data. So, okay, let's centralize the contents. So for this form, we need a data source, which is the data source you want the form to update. Over here, I'm going to click on to-do lists. And so what we're going to do now is going to show some columns from the form. And we'll have the option to decide what columns we want to update with this form. So we'll just give that a second to load. Okay, now it shows all of these columns. We can decide and say, I got everything. So I can come here and decide which columns I want to update. So over here, I don't need this title, so I can take that away. Another one called task. So I can click on add and search for task. I click on add. Then I can drag this to the top. So the order here determines what order the items shows up here. Okay, so we have the description, the due date, the status. I think we need the status, so I can remove the status. The date I don't need here, I can remove it. This import sequence number I don't need, so I can remove it. So what else? I don't need completed dates. I need category, so I'll go and add category. Okay, so let's see. After description, I'll have category, due date, priority. Yes, I'm happy with this layout. I can come to this screen and copy this header. So let me copy this header and paste it here too to maintain that consistency. And later on, there's something called components, which you can use to avoid, pasting the same thing. So just change the color to this one. And for every item too, you can change the color, but I won't spend too much time doing that. And yeah, a simple form. What we can do here is, so how do we submit the data? Because we want to submit, we use a code called submit form, and we put in the name of the form. In this case, it's called form 1. So I just say submit form 1. And what's going to happen is it's going to submit the data of this form into the data source we have provided here, which is this to-do lists. So for this form, I can just call this, I'll just say add item or add task. Okay. Then just give this container some padding. So from the bottom, let me just give it a padding of 50 to push the button up a bit. Cool. So this is what we want to do here. Now I can come here and set the form mode, because this is an edit form. You can use it for different things. In this case, I want to use it to create new records. So I'll set the default mode to new. Then I can just come here and say new task, description, and give a description. For the category, I can decide whether it is personal or work. The date, give a due date. Priority is medium or low. then I can click on add task. But before I do that, what do we want to happen after the person has added a task? In case we have something called on success, and if the action is successful, we want to say navigate. We want to say navigate to-do list screen. So basically, once they submit a record that is successful, they want to go to the to-do list screen. So I can come here and click on add task, and that's just going to take it back to the screen. So over here, we can see the new task that I've just created and the color code that matches unities based on the function we wrote. So that's the app bit. So say I want to integrate the Copilot agent with this. I've created a Copilot agent, so I can come to settings to Copilot and choose the agent. So these are different Copilot bots agents that we created. This is the to-do list helper. So I can click on that, and that's now associated with this app. So once you've worked on your app, you can click on publish, and publish is going to make it available for your users. Okay, so still with me. I added something. I can put it in the chat. All right, so that's publishing. And so what happens now is if a user tries to use the app, they'll have that option for the Copilot agent. So the next thing I want us to do, ordinarily I've said let's go on a break, but I think we can continue. Session is almost over. We are working towards by wrapping up by 2 o'clock. So let me just show you the agents, and we would see what the agent involves. So I'm just going to go to the Copilot and we'll see what is involved in creating an agent that can actually do something with your data. So here we have the to-do list helper agent. So I'm just going to click on this and say open agents. So if you have any question, put it in the chat. So I see a question. If I create an app, works those belonging to me or the Microsoft as a patent right? That's a good question. So every app you build within the Power Platform is in the context of an organization, and you have it belongs to you. It doesn't belong to Microsoft. You can publish. So Microsoft has some places where you can publish your app to that it becomes available to other users. So like a marketplace or like a Play Store thing. So it's called App Source. So you can build a solution and publish it to App Source. Then it still belongs to you, but that means other users can use it. But apart from that, whatever you build within your organization belongs to your organization. I hope that answers your question. I hope. All right, so this is the building interface for your bot. And basically, this gives you an overview. So what's the name of the bot? You can give it a name, and here I've given it a name of to-do list helper. I can change this icon if I want to an icon that relates to my app. For the description, it says it's an agent that helps us answer questions about scheduled and completed tasks on a to-do list app. Then I gave it a general instruction that says the agent should provide details about upcoming tasks. The agent should summarize completed tasks for the day. The agent should summarize tasks, incomplete tasks for the day. The agent should give an analysis of how diligent the user is in completing their tasks. The agent should give an analysis of the amount of tasks completed before the due date. Now, this option, which is a very important option, it says use generative AI to determine how best to respond to users and events. So when you're building bots, you can decide to say, oh, don't use generative AI, use only my company data. But that's usually the best case scenario because it limits hallucination. You must have heard of hallucination with AI agents. That means they can just say something that doesn't exist. So you can have that if you have this generative AI turned off. But if it is turned off, then it reduces the hallucination. It forces it to focus on just your company data or the data you want to use. So it's giving some analysis, which is good. And so this analysis over time, you get to see how your bot is helping people, whether it's solving their problem or not. So for knowledge here, this is the data source, the same one we use in the app. So I have added that as a knowledge to this bot. So that means the bot can access that data. So when I tell the bot, go and do this, tell me what, when I ask a question, it knows where to look. So in this case, it's looking at this knowledge. Then we have different topics that, so you can use the bot for different things. So maybe I want the bot to be able to create a new record. I can create a topic for that, and the bot will know what to do when somebody says create a new record. So this is just like an overview of the bots, and there are different things. One area I want to show you is in terms of actions. So I have a custom action, which is what determines how that response that we got is this action that I use to format the response to make sure it gives me the response in that particular way. Because when you're building bots, when you're building Copilot agents, you need to in some cases you want it to return a response in a particular way. So you can do that by using actions. So it's a whole world of this, so that you need actual in-depth training to use it better. But it's good to see that it's possible and you can build these solutions. So that's the demo walkthrough of the to-do list app. In just a little time, you see we've been able to achieve almost all the features that we can see in this app. And even though visually it looks a bit different, but that's something you can always tweak to look the way you want, because it is a flexible platform. So how can you learn? There are different ways of learning how to develop apps and solutions with the Power Platform. Earlier, we've talked about the bootcamp that we're putting together. Is a very detailed bootcamp that will take you from beginner to job ready. And so we'll have details of the bootcamp. We'll talk about it here. We'll also give you a couple of links for you to go on the website, check the bootcamp, check the volume of content that we're going to cover in the bootcamp. So you can learn from our Power Platform bootcamp. And earlier on, I saw somebody mention that how do I learn, that they struggle with learning Power Platform. And I would say that's a real struggle, and that's part of why we've put this bootcamp together. And because you're going to be taught by a seasoned professional, you get that experience. So you're not just learning how to build the tools, but you're also gaining experience, because there will be real world scenarios that will be shared during the training. So you can learn from our Power Platform bootcamp. We'll give more details about it shortly. And we also have seminars, because I'm sure you've learned something so far since we started talking, right? And this is a free seminar, so we'll still have free seminars like this. But what's going to differentiate the seminar from the bootcamp is more hands-on. So for the seminar, is more of you just gaining knowledge and maybe the visual experience, but you're actually doing it hands-on, you're practicing it, but you're still learning. And with the bootcamp, we're going to have projects. So you work on real projects. And over time, I've come across many different projects, and I know the kind of projects that I can give you and you learn from it. So Diola is an example of that. I've been giving her a couple of projects and challenging projects, and she has been able to pick it up and use it as a learning journey. So the bootcamp is going to be structured around projects, less talking, more action, more working, more projects, and giving you that experience that you need to secure and excel at your job. Then, so we have our seminars just like this that we will have often. So just keep close to us. I think our social media link is pinned in the chat. Follow us on social media so that when we are having our next event, follow us on LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram. Follow us everywhere so that you are in tune with our event. We have Microsoft Learn, which Tolu mentioned and I talked about too when I was on the interface. You can learn from Microsoft Learn. It's totally free. It's self-paced, mostly text content. So you can use that if you're a fan of reading and can read and translate that into instructions. it's not easy, I'll be honest. It's not easy to use that format, and you don't get real world experience from there. You just mainly gain how to use the tools. So that's where something like the bootcamp will give you an edge rather than you just going through Microsoft to learn. And we have community events all around the world. The Power Platform community is very active and they are very helpful. So we have a lot of community events around. Stay close to community events. You will learn a whole lot. As I said, my whole Power Platform journey started from me attending a community event. And that was also a free event, but it inspired me. It gave me the seed to actually pursue this professionally. Then you have YouTube. You can learn from YouTube. There are loads of resources on YouTube. Excellent creators creating content there. You can learn, though YouTube also doesn't have that structured format. So it's still a bit hassle, but YouTube can really help when you're trying to solve a problem. You can search it on YouTube. And for the people that are going to be in the bootcamp also, we have an open channel of questions. So if you're in the boot camp and you have a question, you can send in your question at any time and we'll just be able to help you. Or if you're trying to solve a problem, we can get some help for you. And we have other learning providers. So there are some other organizations that deliver training. At the end of the day, it's still the knowledge. If you can afford it, you can go for it. Personally, I deliver training for a lot of organizations that deliver Power Platform training. So you can also learn from other learning providers. So if you can turn on your cameras, if you can turn on your camera, awesome. Okay. 1 second, just gonna wait a bit to see if we have more people. Awesome. Okay. Awesome. Everybody. So on Google Meet too, if you can turn on your cameras. So Adela, you can help take a screenshot from your end. Brilliant. So if you have any questions, you can ask your questions. Do you have any question? Okay. So I'm gonna share my screen again. All right. So we have a feedback survey. Adela is going to put it in the chat too. She's going to put the link in the chat. So we have a feedback survey. Kindly give us some feedback on how we can make this event better in the future. So you can scan the QR code. Adela is to put it in the chat. And the question and answer section is still open in case you have a question. Or let me ask a question. Do you want yourself in a career as a Power Platform developer? Do you see yourself starting a career as a Power Platform developer? Are you convinced that this is a good career for you to pursue? So we can unmute ourselves, we can speak up.
All right. Good afternoon.
Yes, hi.
Thank you. And it's wonderful learning experience.
Yeah.
Before I'm trying to learn Power App myself.
Yeah.
One of the things I need is more like so that I can have like a smooth getting to understand the app very much and translate it to getting better jobs and not only that, to become a professional in that. And so this platform I know is going to be an eye opener for me. And the way it's well organized and bringing out structure to make sure that at the end of the day, job can be referred. And then currently I'm in Nigeria, but I love to get gigs that are remote, not necessarily traveling around the world or coming to UK or anything. But if I get like a remote gig, I'll be so glad because that'll be my end goal. Like after putting all my resources together to finish up this bootcamp, I would like to understand that, oh, I'm getting this at the end of the day. So more like go to.
Yeah, I'll say, that's why we put this together also to provide that structure and real world. So in terms of remote, it's very I have an ex who is in Nigeria and he has no intention of traveling anywhere, but he makes a whole lot of money from this field even in Nigeria, to the end that in terms of quality of life he almost has a better quality of life because he has the exchange rate. He earns in pounds and dollars and he can always convert that to Nigeria, and he's a very boy. Yeah, and is benefiting this field too. So it's a good investment. Even within it's a space that is increasing. Is just like there's much more adoption. I left Nigeria about 2 years ago, and no, 3 years ago. And even before I left Nigeria, we had top banks that we were working with driving Power Platform adoption there. So I'm sure right now is going to be much more. So, and we're not just talking about banks, we're talking of multinational organizations like British Petroleum. I personally know people who are Power Platform developers for British Petroleum, those big multinational companies, and they have their all around the world. So it's a good investment. It's something you can invest in. So just make sure you go to that link, use information over there, and there is a form at the bottom of the page to register. Once you do that, we'll send let you know you need to get involved in the training. So that's awesome. Thank you so much, everybody. I would say it's this is our first time of putting this together, and yes, we have people on Teams, we have some people on Google Meet, and at some point we were live on TikTok. So altogether, it's been an amazing program. It's been because of every one of you who have joined. So as I said, stay tuned to our social media. We'll have more events like this. There's a whole lot to learn at the end of the day. There's a whole lot of knowledge to be shared. And Velda really comes, to that's part of our mission. As much as we build solution for organizations, as much as we build, software and all those things, we also want to be able to inspire this tech career, right? Because this tech career is just as we've said, in order not to restate all that has been said before, right? This is a very, very tech. There's loads of opportunities which increases every day, and we want you to get involved. And you can switch your career from wherever you are, gain this knowledge. You're actually investing, in future. When I started this field, I was in Nigeria, and once I came over here, immediately I finished my university. Nobody even asked me about my school. Nobody asked me what grades I got. Immediately I finished the university, I got a job. I didn't wait for 1 day. And that's because, it is there's loads of opportunities in this field, and you can get that your dream opportunity from this. So that's what we have today. In order not to so Adiola, okay, you can connect with us on LinkedIn. So Adiola has put in the social media links. Awesome. So in order not to miss out a question, I think there was a question from Ismail. Is Ismail still here? Okay, so Ismail is no longer here. Okay, so we connect with Ismail, we can answer that question he put in the chat. But yeah, that's it. If you still have any questions, we can answer your questions. Apart from that, it's been awesome. Thank you so much, everybody, for being a part of this. Visit the link, and yeah, see you next event. So let's just give a round of applause as we wrap it up.